Okay, so now we're going to answer question 23 from the SAT number 10. And the question asks, over the course of the passage, the main focus shifts from a something to a something. And this is like a focus shifts type question. They'll ask you this every now and then. And the way to solve these focus shift type questions is by doing two things. So one is this sort of is in the category of the big picture question, which means not only do we need to know specific information about the text, but we need to also have sort of a general comprehension of the text. The last two questions sort of also were big picture questions. So by the time we get to this one, we should already have a little bit of a sense about what's going on generally in the text. So one, we have to have a general understanding of the text, and then two, we should also be able to localize to identify specific like shift sentences that occur in the text. And what I mean by this is looking for sentences that have transition words. One of the biggest, most important transition words is three letters BUT. But for whatever reason on the test, pay attention to this word because it comes up all the time, and it's always used to indicate some sort of shift. And then there's other all kinds of different options for a way to have a transition, and we just want to pay attention to those specific instances. But let's start with sort of our general understanding of the text. So what we want to do is, again, we have no way to predict in advance what the SAT is going to highlight. There's always multiple ways to break down a text and to find shifts in it. And what you think might be a shift may not be what the SAT wants to highlight. And what the SAT wants to highlight may just not be obvious. So what we want to do is be able to prepare for any sort of possible shift that the SAT might give an example of. So the way that I do this is I sort of look for like just some basic groupings. And I may not get this perfect, but in my head I look for just some basic groupings of the text. And what I do is I say, okay, we have grouping A and grouping B, grouping C and grouping D. And so maybe they're going to focus on the shift or the transition from group A to group B, or from group C to group D, or from B to C, whichever answer choice, whatever shift is there. Again, we don't know even that the groups that we make are the ones that they're going to make. But usually you're able to figure this out and usually able to come up with something in advance, some sort of prediction to help guide your answer choices. Again, this seems like a lot of work, but don't be overwhelmed if it does. Obviously, you're not going to plot out this. I don't think you have time to do that. So this is something you have to do sort of in your head. When you do it in your head, it's faster, it's subtle, it's even nonverbal. So don't get overwhelmed by this. It's just I'm just kind of explaining the thought process that will help us. So the general breakdown as I have it, and I don't have the whole text here, so if you have it, go back to the text and sort of you can use it and compare. The four things I have is new findings about exoplanets. This is in paragraph 1. Opening paragraph, it mentions, hey, we found new exoplanets. Immediately, though, even in paragraph 1, it begins to talk about the usefulness and history of TTV, what it does, how it was discovered, its implementation, etc. In paragraph 5, we get another shift when they start talking about TTV becoming practical, which is another shift in the passage. Then finally, we get the last 3 paragraphs, 6 to 8, which is 6 to 9 actually, where we have 2 studies that talk about using TTV. That's sort of the shift. We could expect to find something in between here, in between here, in between here. The other thing is, like I said, we want to scan for particular shifts in the passage, looking for the word but, looking for however, looking for in transition or by contrast or therefore or whatever. And going back, honestly, I don't find too much. I don't really find any specific strong examples. So we're just going to have to go with our general understanding of the text, jump into the answer choices, start to eliminate some, and go from there. Remember that when we jump into the answer choices here, even one thing that's wrong with them is going to make the whole thing wrong. So if we focus on errors in either the first part or the second part, it's going to help us come to our answer more quickly. So let's start with A. A says it starts from a summary of the results of several experiments to a chronicle of the process used in one of those experiments. So this here, it says that we start with a summary of the results of several experiments, which is actually not what we have, because the passage doesn't begin with a summary of several experiments. That actually come down here. Right? This is the first of the experiments mentioned. This is line 55. And so it's wrong to say that we begin our passage with a summary of these experiments. So for that reason, this answer choice is wrong. B says that we begin with a reflection regarding the traditional difficulties of a scientific problem to a consideration of a new technique, rendering that problem obsolete. This one seems more likely because we know that TTV is a new technique, that it does resolve some of the old methods of finding the mass of an exoplanet, or some of just the old scientific methodologies is something new. The problem is that the structure of the text, if we look here, is not part one of part A talking about the old problems, and then part B talking about this new innovative solution that makes the problem obsolete. So for that reason, this one is not really the best option for me. Also, making the problem obsolete is a strong claim. It's not to say it would never be right, but we need a lot of evidence for that. For this, no. So then our next answer choice is answer choice C, which says we start with a description of an innovative procedure to an account of some specific applications of that procedure. This actually seems to work good. We do start with the description of an innovative procedure, that of TTV, right? So we start with the usefulness and history of TTV and when TTV became practical. That could be part one. And then we do end with two studies that use TTV. These are specific applications of that procedure. So this could be part one, this could be part two, and that works. So I say let's keep this answer choice. D says we start with a defense of a controversial scientific practice to a demonstration of that practice's ultimate usefulness. The only possible candidate for this would be TTV, I guess, using TTV, but there's nowhere that it says it's controversial. Controversy is a strong, loud claim. Again, meaning that if there is controversy in this passage, you're going to know because they're going to tell you in advance this is controversial. So we don't really see that at all. So we can kind of conclude that this one is going to be wrong as well, which leaves us only with our answer choice C, which happens to be our answer choice. We can stop there.